Sakal Gunarnavasha Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindan.
When they saw Vidhur return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthira, his younger brothers, Dhritarashtra, Satyaki, Sanjay, Kripacharya, Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kirpi, many other wives of the Kauravas and other ladies with children, all hurried to him in great delight. It so appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long period. Gandhari, the ideal chaste lady in the history of the world. She was the daughter of Maharaj Subala, the king of Gandhar, now Kandar in Kabul, and in her maiden state she worshipped Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is generally worshipped by Hindu maidens to get a good husband. Gandhari satisfied Lord Shiva, and by his benediction to obtain 100 sons, she was betrothed to Dhritarashtra, despite his being blind forever. When Gandhari came to know that her would-be husband was a blind man, to follow her life companion, she decided to become voluntarily blind. So she wrapped up her eyes with many silk linens, and she was married to Dhritarashtra under the guidance of her elder brother Shakuni. She was the most beautiful girl of her time, and she was equally qualified by her womanly qualities, which endeared every member of the Kaurav court. But despite all her good qualities, she had the natural frailties of a woman, and she was envious of Kunti when the latter gave birth to a male child. Both the queens were pregnant, but Kunti first gave birth to a male child. Thus Gandhari became angry and gave a blow to her own abdomen. As a result, she gave birth to a lump of flesh only, but since she was a devotee of Vyasdev, by the instruction of Vyasdev, the lump was divided into 100 parts, and each part gradually developed to become a male child. Thus, her ambition to become the mother of 100 sons was fulfilled, and she began to nourish all the children according to her exalted position. When the intrigue of the battle of Kurukshet was going on, she was not in favour of fighting with the Pandavas. Rather, she blamed Dhritarashtra, her husband, for such a fratricidal war. She desired that the state be divided into 2 parts, for the sons of Pandu and her own. She was very affected when all her sons died in the battle of Kurukshetra, and she wanted to curse Bhimsen and Yudhishthir, but she was checked by Vyasdev. Her mourning over the death of Duryodhan and Dushasan before Lord Krishna was very pitiful, and Lord Krishna pacified her by transcendental messages. She was equally aggrieved on the death of Karna, and she described to Lord Krishna the lamentation of Karna's wife. She was pacified by Srila Vyasdev when he showed her dead sons, then promoted to the heavenly kingdoms. She died along with her husband in the jungles of the Himalayas near the mouth of the Gangas. She burned in a forest fire. Maharaj Yudhishthira performed the death ceremony of his uncle and aunt. Parth, daughter of Maharaj Shorsan and sister of Vasudev, Lord Krishna's father. Later she was adopted by Maharaj Kuntibhoj, and hence she is known as Kunti. She is the incarnation of the success potency of the personality of Godhead. The heavenly denizens from the upper planets used to visit the palace of King Kuntibhoj, and Kunti was engaged for their reception. She also served the great mystic sage Durvasa, and being satisfied by her faithful service, Durvasa Muni gave her a mantra by which it was possible for her to call for any demigod she pleased. As a matter of inquisitiveness, she at once called for the sun god, who desired couplement with her, but she declined. But the sun god assured her immunity from virgin adulteration, and so she agreed to his proposal. As a result of this couplement, she became pregnant, and Khan was born by her. By the grace of the sun, she again turned into a virgin girl, but being afraid of her parents, she quitted the newly born child, Khan. After that, when she actually selected her own husband, she preferred Pandu to be her husband. Maharaj Pandu later wanted to retire from family life and adopt the renounced order of life. Kunti refused to allow her husband to adopt such life, but at last Maharaj Pandu gave her permission to become a mother of sons by calling some other suitable personalities. Kunti did not accept this proposal at first, but when vivid examples were set by Pandu, she agreed. Thus, by dint of the mantra awarded by Durvasa Muni, she called for Dharmraj, and thus Yudhishthira was born. She called for the demigod Vayu, air, and thus Bhim was born. She called for Indra, the king of heaven, and thus Arjun was born. The other two sons, namely Nakul and Sahdev, were begotten by Pandu himself in the womb of Madri. Later on, Maharaj Pandu died at an early age, for which Kunti was so aggrieved that she fainted. Two co-wives, namely Kunti and Madri, decided that Kunti should live for the maintenance of the 5 minor children, the Pandavas, and Madri should accept the sati rituals by meeting voluntary death along with her husband. This agreement was endorsed by great sages like Shatsrang and others present on the occasion. Later on, when the Pandavas were banished from the kingdom by the intrigues of Duryodhan, Kunti followed her sons, and she equally faced all sorts of difficulties during those days. During the forest life, one demon girl, Hidimba, wanted Bhim as her husband. Bhim refused, but when the girl approached Kunti and Yudhishthira, they ordered Bhim to accept her proposal and give her a son. As a result of this combination, Ghatotkach was born, and he fought very valiantly with his father against the Kauravas. In their forest life, they lived with a Brahmin family that was in trouble because of one Bakasur demon, and Kunti ordered Bhim to kill the Bakasur to protect the Brahmin family against troubles created by the demon. She advised Yudhishthira to start for the Panchaldesh. Draupadi was gained in this Panchaldesh by Arjun, but by order of Kunti, all 5 of the Pandav brothers became equally the husbands of Panchali, or Draupadi. She was married with 5 Pandavas in the presence of Vyasdev. Kunti Devi never forgot her first child, Karn, and after Karn's death in the battle of Kurukshet, she lamented and admitted before her other sons that Karn was her eldest son prior to her marriage with Maharaj Pandu. Her prayers for the Lord after the battle of Kurukshet, when Lord Krishna was going back home, are excellently explained. Later she went to the forest with Gandhari for severe penance. She used to take meals after each 30 days. She finally sat down in profound meditation and later burned to ashes in a forest fire. Draupadi, the most chaste daughter of Maharaj Drupad and partly an incarnation of goddess Shatsi, the wife of Indra. Maharaj Drupad performed a great sacrifice under the superintendence of the sage Yaj. By his first offering, Trishdyumna was born, and by the second offering, Draupadi was born. She is therefore the sister of Trishdyumna, and she is also named Panchali. The 5 Pandavas married her as a common wife, and each of them begot a son in her. Maharaj Yudhishthira begot a son named Pratabit, Bhimsen begot a son named Sutsom, Arjun begot Shrutkirti, Nakul begot Shatnika, and Sahdev begot Shrutkam. She is described as a most beautiful lady, equal to her mother-in-law, Kunti. During her birth there was an arrow message that she should be called Krishna. The same message also declared that she was born to kill many a Kshatriya. By dint of her blessings from Shankar, she was awarded 5 husbands, equally qualified. When she preferred to select her own husband, princes and kings were invited from all the countries of the world. She was married with the Pandavas during their exile in the forest, but when they went back home, Maharaj Drupad gave them immense wealth as a dowry. She was well received by all the daughters-in-law of Dhritarashtra. When she was lost in a gambling game, she was forcibly dragged into the assembly hall, and an attempt was made by Dushasan to see her naked beauty, even though there were elderly persons like Bhishma and Dron present. She was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and by her praying, the Lord himself became an unlimited garment to save her from the insult. A demon of the name Jatasa kidnapped her, but her second husband, Bhimsen, killed the demon and saved her. She saved the Pandavas from the curse of Maharshi Durvasa by the grace of Lord Krishna. When the Pandavas lived incognito in the palace of Virat, Kichak was attracted by her exquisite beauty, and by arrangement with Bhim, the devil was killed and she was saved. She was very much aggrieved when her 5 sons were killed by Ashvathama. At the last stage, she accompanied her husband Yudhishthira and others and fell on the way. The cause of her falling was explained by Yudhishthira, but when Yudhishthira entered the heavenly planet, he saw Draupadi gloriously present there as the goddess of fortune in the heavenly planet. Subhadra, daughter of Vasudeva and sister of Lord Sri Krishna. She was not only a very dear daughter of Vasudeva, but also a very dear sister to both Krishna and Baldev. The 2 brothers and sister are represented in the famous Jagannath temple of Puri, and the temple is still visited by thousands of pilgrims daily. This temple is in remembrance of the Lord's visit at Kurukshet during an occasion of solar eclipse and his subsequent meeting with the residents of Vrindavan. The meeting of Radha and Krishna during this occasion is a very pathetic story, and Lord Sri Chaitanya, in the ecstasy of Radharani, always pined for Lord Sri Krishna at Jagannath Puri. While Arjun was at Dwarka, he wanted to have Subhadra as his queen, and he expressed his desire to Lord Krishna. Sri Krishna knew that his elder brother, Lord Baldev, was arranging her marriage elsewhere, and since he did not dare to go against the arrangement of Baldev, he advised Arjun to kidnap Subhadra. So when all of them were on a pleasure trip on the Raivat hill, Arjun managed to kidnap Subhadra according to the plan of Sri Krishna. Sri Baldev was very angry at Arjun, and he wanted to kill him, but Lord Krishna implored his brother to excuse Arjun. Then Subhadra was duly married with Arjun, and Abhimanyu was born of Subhadra. At the premature death of Abhimanyu, Subhadra was very mortified, but on the birth of Parikshit she was happy and solaced.